Cultural heritage is one of the most significant aspects of identity, and that's the reason for which we really must protect it when we feel that it's in danger. And it's a great era to be in terms of digital technologies and embracing these new technologies in protecting cultural heritage and managing it better.
Cyprus has a variety of cultural heritage sites. If you're using Earth observation, which is part of space technology, there are opportunities for the researchers to do risk assessment, to detect archaeological buried areas, and to have a systematic monitoring tool for the archaeologists in order to monitor archaeological campaigns and activities.
When we talk about satellite remote sensing, it means that you can cover a large area. Imagine that with one image you can cover almost all Cyprus. You can see the whole island. So we can monitor an archaeological site from space without touching, without destroying the archaeological site. Anything we use is non-destructive.
In this site, we were worried about landslides. As you can see here, the site is located next to a hill. So we started monitoring the site using satellite imaging with SAR images. We started monitoring and see if there is any displacement due to the landslides. So we trying to see if there is any points that they're moving. Then we can actually monitor even millimeter movements. We noticed a small movement on the north side that is really potentially dangerous for the tourists that are visiting the site.
There are several threats, for example, natural hazards, but there is also human activity that will affect the archaeological monuments.
We have a lot of problems with looting in Cyprus because we have a lot of areas, archaeological areas, that are impossible to protect. And this gives the opportunity to looters to open graves in order to extract any archaeological remains from those tombs.
Here's the broken pottery. They break half the pots as they loot them. Unfortunately, they break a lot of pottery, or some of the pottery is already broken when they open the tomb.
What we can do is use high-resolution images in order to monitor if there's any changes in the landscape. For example, opening of tombs, like holes, that they might be showing us where the looting is happening. What we're looking, there are holes in the ground because this is the area that we're flying. It used to be a necropolis, so there were a lot of tombs here, and what we're trying to see if there are any changes from previously and now in this area in order to define if there was any looting in that occurred in the area. We can fly this plane up to 2 hours, so we can cover like 3-4 square kilometers.
We also use aerial and UAV sensors for detecting buried archaeological remains.
This is a custom-made drone that we mounted 2 cameras. The one is a camera that takes visible pictures, red, green, and blue, where the other one takes only red and infrared. The reason we do that is to create NDVI indices, where we take the infrared and we subtract the red, and we divide it with the addition of the infrared and the red. In this way, we find any stress vegetation. We see the shapes coming out from those NDVI indices. So whenever we get geometric shapes like rectangular or circular shapes, we know that there's some remains or there's some buildings of remains underneath those areas.
And this, of course, can be investigated further with other ground techniques such as geophysical prospection.
We are doing two different kinds of geophysical prospection. One is aimed at detecting cracks, voids, dishomogeneity. In this case, we use a georadar. We can penetrate up to 40, 50 centimeters. It is also possible to obtain a 3D reconstruction of the object investigated. The results put in evidence the capability of these technologies, ground-penetrating radar, in detecting and imaging feature of interest from the conservation point of view. Sometimes we can obtain so clear information that archaeologists can decide to not excavate this site.
So we try to combine this multi-scale approach from ground to aerial and then to space, and we can provide this kind of services and do research with local and regional stakeholders. Now you have a lot of data. Now we're talking about big data. Imagine if you can use the cloud services of Copernicus. It's very easy, the processing, so you have to start thinking differently.
We can have a long time series and we can investigate the change over time. And what is important to do is also to have some systematic monitoring.
Imagine if you have a satellite image before and after an event. In a very quick time, you can detect areas that probably have been destroyed.
We have to transfer our previous knowledge and history to our next generation to promote culture, education to the new generation, not only on the local level, but also on the global level.
Cultural heritage here is alive.